likely in the next hour or so. So let's go ahead and take that track off first. Let's move a little bit farther to the south. Well, actually, what I want to do is take a look at this hail core before we come off of this storm. So I'm going to put the radar on pause. Yeah, notice that hail core is just that little bit of gray there. That's going to be just south of Lake Lavon. And that little bit of gray is indicating where hail currently is. And it doesn't look nearly as impressive as it did about 30 minutes ago or so. So let's go ahead and put the radar back up. And we're going to go to another couple of these warnings. So the most recent warning, this is for parts of Kaufman County and far eastern and northeastern parts of Ellis County. This hail core looks to be just north of the Rosser area. So I'm going to zoom on in a little bit closer so we can pick up some more landmarkers here. This is going to be south and west of Warsaw, basically just to the west of Highway 34, west of Scurry, north and east of Sand Lake. So let's put this into motion. And what I'm going to do now is read off some of these warning details. So again, this is for southern and southwestern parts of Kaufman County. This latest warning is in effect until 4:30 this afternoon for quarter-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. The National Weather Service, including far southeast Dallas County in this warning, but it looks as if this hail core will basically ride along the border of Dallas and Ellis counties. So let's move that information out of the way. We'll track this out for you. I'm going to check and actually see how fast this storm is moving. But I'll tell you, just based on what I've seen these other cells do, very slowly. So yes, moving to the south and west around 5 miles per hour. That is nearly stationary. So we're going to take this from the leading edge, from that hail core, and move to the south and west. Yeah, computer is freezing on me here. There we go. If this is able to hold its strength, we will see this cell approach the Palmer area between 4:35 and 4:40, and Boyce a little after 5:15. So that's the latest information on our Kaufman County warning. Now I'm going to zoom on out, and we're going to go a little bit farther to, well, give me a second here. We're going to go a little bit farther to the north and east up towards Rains County and Van Zant County, where a more impressive hail core looks to be setting up here. And give me a second. My computer is not liking that movement. So let's go ahead and put that hail size graphic back up. You can see where these hail cores are, and this is going to be just to the west and southwest of Alba, approaching north of Grand Saline. If we take our sizing on here, and again, this is radar estimated, maybe the hail core between the size of quarters or up to the size of golf balls. Again, basically moving just south of Highway 69, approaching Highway 19, likely tracking right towards Highway 80 in the next 30 minutes or so. So let's go ahead and put radar back on. We'll put this into motion. And movement with this storm, once again, I'm actually going to pause it so you can get the latest data here. Movement with this storm, again, is to the west and northwest and southwest between 5 and 10 miles per hour. So that's kind of where I'm going to track this out. I'm tracking it out from the actual hail core itself. This is going to be a little after 4:20 in Flats, a little after 4:50 in Edgewood, a little after 5:20 in Wills Point, 5:50 right around the Cobb area, and 6:11 in Hiram. So let's go ahead and clear that out. We're going to take a wide view now of radar, put this back into motion here. 3 severe thunderstorm warnings all set to expire between about 4:30 and 5 o'clock. Make sure you're keeping an eye on radar for any outdoor afternoon and evening plans. We'll likely continue to see these cells pulse up and pulse back down as they tap into some energy over the next couple of hours before dissipating after sunset. Thanks for joining us on this Tuesday edition of Texas Weather Live. Stay tuned for Fox 4 News at 4.
Fox 4 is here for you. Online now at fox4news.com and streaming free on Fox Local. More local news every day. You're watching Fox 4 at 4.
Just days after the deadly apartment explosion in Oak Cliff, multiple wrongful death lawsuits are filed seeking accountability for what happened. Hi, I'm Eden Shekel. Thanks for joining us on Fox 4 at 4. We'll explain what the lawsuits claim as families of 3 victims mourn their losses. And we've seen several shootings involving teenagers here in North Texas. Local officials saying the numbers are concerning. Plus, a new problem is emerging amid the war with Iran. What a new report is saying about our dwindling oil reserves and what it could mean for gas prices. But first, severe thunderstorm warnings are in effect for parts of North Texas, including Collin, Dallas, and Rockwall counties. And others have just been pop-up showers with lightning like this one this afternoon. This was over Lake Arlington today. Fox 4 meteorologist Berkeley Taylor is here now with what to expect. Berkeley.
Yeah, Eden, it's been a pretty active afternoon, but in terms of severe weather, we've been able to limit that until we get that peak heating going. As we anticipated, we hit 4 o'clock almost on the dot, and that's when everything really started to intensify pretty quickly. So we've seen warnings pop up over the past 10-15 minutes. And as Eden mentioned, we had a warning in place over parts of Dallas and Rockwall County. Thankfully, that storm has weakened really significantly. It looks like the National Weather Service in the last minute or so has allowed that warning to expire early. Of course, that's good news, but we've got other warnings still in effect across parts of North Texas. One a little bit further to the south here, we've got a severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Dallas, Ellis, and Kaufman County, and we've seen some ground truth to this one. It's warned for hail size of a quarter that's about 1 inch in diameter and wind speeds at 60 miles per hour. We've gotten reports of at least pea to dime-sized hail falling out of that cell, and that sits alongside one other warning back further to the east. This one in effect until 4:45. Hail size not as impressive, more of a wind threat here, 60-mile-per-hour gusts. But when we poke around with our hail scope in these storms, you can see that those hail sizes starting to pulse up just a little bit. Those deeper blues indicating again that threat for quarter-sized hail as we head through the next at least 45 minutes before these warnings are set to expire. We anticipate more active weather to come as we head for the evening, really until we can get the sun to set. Activity expected to fill in across across North Texas on radar. We'll get another look at live radar. We'll talk Futurecast and what to expect for the rest of your Tuesday coming up in just a bit.
Thank you, Berkeley. Multiple lawsuits have now been filed in connection to the deadly explosion at an Oak Cliff apartment complex. 3 people were killed, 5 others injured at the Clyde Apartments. Officials say a construction crew hit a gas line, causing the explosion. And now, as victims try to recover and families mourn the loss of their loved ones, a legal process is getting underway to uncover what went wrong. Fox 4's Alex Boyer is live with more details on the lawsuits. Alex.
Hi, Eden, and it's been now 5 days since the Clyde Apartments that once stood there behind me exploded, and day by day we're learning of new lawsuits being filed on behalf of those who were killed and hurt.
Less than a week after a deadly explosion destroyed the Clyde Apartments in the Oak Cliff neighborhood of Dallas, lawsuits are being filed on behalf of some of the victims, both dead and injured.
Sylvia Collins was just an absolute gem of a person, a rare, one-of-a-kind person.
Sylvia Collins was one of 3 people killed in the blast. 38-year-old Marisol Perez and her toddler died too. Collins was a precinct chair for the Dallas County Democratic Party, as well as a well-known community activist. She was inside her apartment, marked in this photo by an arrow, when it exploded last Thursday. The drill rig that is believed to have hit a gas line just a few feet away. Attorney Chris Hamilton is representing Collins' family in this wrongful death case. The lawsuit names Atmos Energy, the property owner, the prospective buyer, and the company they and their engineering firm hired to perform drilling activities at the site as defendants.
One of the key questions that we have right now is how were these lines marked and was that done correctly? That is a major question hanging over this.
José, ¿me puedes contar lo que estaba pasando ese día?
73-year-old Jose Lopez tells me he was injured in the blast. He was inside his unit located towards the back of the complex when it exploded. He spoke through a translator.
All I remember hearing is a loud bang, and it threw me to the ground. I didn't think I was going to live. I didn't think I was going to survive. I felt trapped. I got out. There was nothing else I could do.
Lopez says he injured his shoulder, leg, and head when he was knocked to the ground. Attorney Eric Cedillo represents him.
It was a situation where just happenstance, luck of where he was located in connection with the actual explosion, which apparently occurred in the front of the building, is one of the reasons why he survived.
And so Cedillo, who you just heard from, tells me that he's waiting on the final report from the NTSB to help determine who they may name as defendants in their lawsuit. Meanwhile, I can tell you that Attorney Chris Hamilton says that the Collins family is seeking a monetary as well as punitive damages for what they call gross negligence related to her death. Back to you.
Alex, thanks for that update there. 1 person is dead after a shooting in North Oak Cliff just after 3:30 a.m. Police found the victim outside of the Laredo Taco connected to the 7-Eleven on Sylvan Avenue at Interstate 30. Police say the man was standing outside of the building when a group pulled up in a white car. Officers believe there was some kind of fight. The man was shot and the group drove off. No suspects are in police custody right now. Gun violence of all types, homicides, suicides, accidental shootings, taking a heavy toll on families and communities each year. Gun crime trends are both promising and problematic, down somewhat when it comes to adults, but sadly steady when it comes to teenagers. Fox 4's Sean Rabb is live now with more. Sean.
Yeah, and June, my friend, is in fact National Gun Violence Awareness Month. All across the country, people are having discussions about gun violence and turning their attention to gun crimes and lives lost. At Dallas County Commissioner's Court today, court opened with a resolution about Gun Violence Awareness Month. 40,000 people die annually in the United States from gun violence. 1/10 of those in Texas. Staggering numbers, but those numbers are actually decreasing. Where it's not decreasing, juveniles, those 17 and under. The leading cause of death for those under 17, juveniles, children, teens being killed by guns, and children and teens killing with guns. In Dallas County, children as young as 12 years old facing murder charges.
So like right now, about 30% of the kids are in detention. are there specifically for gun-related violence, and that number increases significantly. We look at our post-adjudicated youth, and these are youth that have gone before the court and been deemed to require a higher level of structure and supervision. That number increases to nearly 50% that are directly related to gun violence in the community.
Now, just last week, I spoke with the head of the Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms Bureau, Robert Cicada, in Dallas for a conference. He tells me they're using DNA and technology in a new way in their new gun crime intelligence lab in Wichita, Kansas, that can actually help police trace back to where a gun used in a crime came from.
When we use tracing, we use DNA, we're able to find out, okay, how did this gun get from the legal market into this prohibited person's hands, and then who pulled the trigger? We're able to get DNA off of a slide, off of a trigger, off of the front and rear sight, and we can tell you exactly how much of DNA was everywhere. And if 4 other people touched that firearm, we could break down who else was with you when they committed that crime.
Wow. The technology is working wonders. Now, here's what it can do. It can trace where a weapon came from, but it cannot trace the why. Why a person feels like there's no hope, why they feel like there's no other way except to pick up a gun and commit a crime. That's the discussions happening across the country now. Prevention efforts are critical, and they're also urgent. And today, the juvenile director and his deputy director at Commissioner's Court talking about the tools they need to try to turn lives around.
Sean, thank you. Secretary of State Marco Rubio told senators today that Iran agreed to negotiate parts of its nuclear program. He said those negotiations would be part of ongoing talks to end the war. His statements ran counter to what Iran's been saying, which is that it's no longer taking part in talks until Israel stops attacking Hezbollah in Lebanon. Fox's Caroline Shively reports.
Let's face it, Mr. Secretary, the Trump foreign policy has become a dumpster fire.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio facing tough questions on the president's plan for Iran while testifying on Capitol Hill Tuesday, his first time under oath since the war began.
Mr. Rubio, you keep telling us how we're winning this war. The president keeps saying,
well, the war's over.
Completely annihilated. The war is not over.
Democrats focused on Iran's effective closure of the Strait of Hormuz, which has blocked 20% of the world's oil deliveries and sent gas prices soaring.
You will not give
those agreements
relief just in exchange for reopening the strait.
No, that's not been discussed. That's not been offered.
Secretary Rubio told lawmakers the U.S. could be on the verge of a deal, possibly within days, saying any agreement must block Iran from producing a nuclear weapon.
Not only would they have a nuclear weapon, not only would they control the straits, they would be able to act with impunity because you wouldn't be able to touch them.
As Rubio testified, President Trump posted, claiming Iranian media reports that Tehran and Washington stopped speaking a few days ago were erroneous. Iran says they won't make a deal with the U.S. unless Israel stops attacking Hezbollah in Lebanon.
We are trying to view the Lebanon-Israeli talks as separate and distinct from Iran. And what Iran wants to do is mix it all together because Hezbollah is not legitimate.
Secretary Rubio will be back on Capitol Hill Wednesday testifying before 2 more committees. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
America's emergency oil reserve is approaching levels not seen since the 80s. This comes when the U.S. is quickly using up its supplies to stabilize global energy markets shaken by the war with Iran. The Energy Information Administration says the U.S. has around 365 million barrels of oil sitting in the Strategic Petroleum Reserve in the week ending May 22nd. Energy Secretary Chris Wright is pledging to fill the reserve by the end of 2027.
I believe the Strait of Hormuz will be flowing again in the not too distant future. Could be sooner than later if it's a negotiated deal with Iran. It could take longer if it's entirely done militarily.
Analysts warn that these steep drawdowns leave the U.S. exposed to energy spikes if there's an emergency, like for hurricanes or if the Iran war continues. The public divorce trial of Ken and Angela Paxton has been canceled. This comes just weeks before it was set to begin. The Texas Attorney General and Republican Senate candidate's wife filed for divorce last year, citing biblical grounds. An attorney for Ken Paxton said in a statement that the couple has come to an agreement, though the terms of that divorce agreement were not immediately made public. Still to come on Fox 4 News, a North Texas kid who loves soccer is celebrating some great news. We're going to tell you his inspiring story and his big plans for the World Cup. And the debate over screen time continues, even for students on summer break. We'll explain ahead.
Handles it all.
Here's Origi with an early chance. On the outstretched boot of Tim Howard comes the United States rescue.
Though no one would call soccer America's sport, don't tell that to an American goalkeeper. Now, Matt Freese, a Harvard-educated Pennsylvania-born player, begins his journey to have his name added to those ranks. The 2026 FIFA World Cup, starting June 11th on Fox 4.
We are officially in the single digits. Can you believe it? Just 9 days away from the first game of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. FIFA announcing it has officially confirmed the final 26-man squads for all 48 teams that are participating this summer. 1,248 players will take the pitch across 104 matches. Of those players, only 357 have previously played in a World Cup. 22 World Cup winners are returning. 891 players are making their debut. And a lot of fans will get the chance to see some games here in North Texas. We spoke to one fan today. His name is Keegan Mays. He's a 15-year-old soccer player. Keegan was diagnosed on his 15th birthday with an aggressive form of cancer called Hodgkin lymphoma, but he is now in remission, and he spoke with us on the Post. He said playing soccer during his cancer battle helped him. Now he's focusing on getting back to normal life with plans to see some World Cup games.
This season, I went to high school. I played for a high school team at Jesuit, and it was really fun. I mean, I played with a bunch of friends there. I knew a bunch of people there, and I mean, it helped me kind of forget about everything. There's one game in Dallas we're getting to go to, and then we're going to Seattle for the 4th of July in that little week, and I'm bringing a friend along with me, and I'm really excited. So.
Yeah, there's a the quarterfinal game in Seattle.
Quarterfinal game, yeah.
You are a big soccer fan, huh?
So exciting. Well, during his battle with cancer, Keegan was able to take part in the Children's Health's World Cup ad as well. Well, Fox 4 is giving you more ways to get featured stories like this one, local news and weather during the World Cup. So KDFI Channel 27 is now going to be called Fox 4 Plus. So when World Cup soccer is airing here on Fox 4, you can catch Fox 4 News on Fox 4 Plus. Over the air, it is Channel 27, also 4.2, and it's Channel 7 on Spectrum. So scan the QR code for more information on how to find Fox 4 Plus over the air or through your TV service provider.
Active weather ongoing across North Texas this afternoon. These storms tapping into the heat of the day and really intensifying pretty quickly. Some updates, though, now just 2 severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for parts of North Texas. We've seen a couple of them canceled, and thankfully we're seeing a little bit of a weakening trend. However, as long as we've got the sun up and going, I expect we'll find storms through the rest of the afternoon right on into the evening. So the latest information we've got for these 2 severe thunderstorm warnings, the one a little bit further to the west, this one in effect until 4:30. Next 15 minutes or so, we'll see if this is going to need to be reissued or potentially redrawn, as we're seeing a little bit of more intensification. A reminder, this one for hail about the size of a quarter, an inch in diameter, and 60-mile-per-hour winds. Now, alongside that, we've got a similar setup back toward the north and east. This one, hail size looking a little bit less impressive, and wind speed's the bigger problem here. 60-mile-per-hour gusts possible for parts of Hunt, Rains, and Van Zant counties. That one's set to expire at 4:45. Now, if we take a look at hail sizes, I've got this loop over the past 30 minutes to show you the nature of these storms. First, you see signs of weakening. We see more of a gray color fill in. But now, as we sit, we've got more redevelopment as this pushes into parts of Dallas County here. We're seeing some deeper blues, meaning, again, quarter-sized hail, pulsing down, pulsing back up. Same story here, but this one actually outside of the polygon. We've got another hail core trying to get up and going, so I think we could see some of these polygons redrawn to include other counties in these warnings. Now, a wider look across the area. As you move further to the west, really, there's just a lot less activity and a lot less intensity with the storms that are up and going. I do want to put the lightning back on here, because even though some of these storms aren't severe on the south side of the Metroplex and on the west side, they're still very much impactful. And by that, I mean there's a whole lot of lightning coming down with these storms. If we look at the area as a whole, just in the past 10 minutes, there have been over 1,200 strikes. Watching that closely, especially as folks get ready to head home from work, their afternoon commute, know that roadway is likely going to be a little bit slick as these storms start to move to the west very slowly. That flood concern also starting to build up. A reminder, these storms moving into a really warm environment. Temperatures still in the 90s for most spots, but you can see where the rain-cooled air has affected some spots. Stephenville at 76, Cleburne at 77, and the Metroplex, though, we're still at 90 degrees. That's why I anticipate we will find active weather through the rest of the afternoon into the evening. Timing it out on Futurecast, a front starting to drape across the area as it moves into the Metroplex. I expect we will see more coverage here in parts of Collin, Dallas, Tarrant counties as we get towards 6 or 7 o'clock. That front will exit down to the south and west, and then we get the sun to set, and then we'll shut off the tap. Radar quiets pretty quickly from there. Until then, though, we'll be watching for isolated strong wind gusts, frequent lightning, localized flooding, and at least pocket change sized hail. Storm Prediction Center has noted that as these storms drift down to the south and east, they've got a more conducive environment to producing some stronger storms. But as we've seen, we're not quite out of the woods just yet. More active weather to come as we head through the next several days. Tomorrow, lower coverage, chance to find some isolated storms similar to today. Thursday, Friday, Saturday will gradually stair-step coverage up. Right now, it looks like our weather maker slowing down a little bit. So we've shifted that higher coverage, the more promising time to find rain into the weekend. Not timely, of course, for weekend plans, but something I think we'll see coverage improve as we head from Friday into Saturday, and then hoping to quiet things down as we round out the weekend. And in turn, temperatures will follow kind of the same pattern. As we get rain to move in, we'll see temperatures cool back into the upper 80s by Thursday. We'll stay there. Coolest day I've got is Saturday at 87. But then as rain moves out, sunshine returns, temperatures will climb back into the 90s to start off next week.
Listen, you're going to see a lot of Memorial Day sales, but we're the only ones with prices like this. This $1,000 Texas-built reclining sofa for just $699 while supplies last. HomeZone, we're different.
You're watching Fox 4 at 4.
Students are out on summer break while schools debate if screens have a place in the classroom. The Surgeon General's office issued a warning last month over excessive screen time. It attributed device usage to anxiety, sleep disruptions, and trouble concentrating. Parents, teachers, and doctors say it's time for schools to cut back and restrict the use of tech in the classroom.
Gen Z is the first generation in modern history to underperform us on basically every cognitive measure we have, from basic attention to memory to literacy to numeracy to executive functioning to even general IQ, even though they go to more school than we did.
Los Angeles and New York City schools have already issued new restrictions. Just last month, Richardson ISD announced plans to set new limits on screen time in the next school year. Supporters of tech in the classroom say it boosts engagement and personalizes learning for individual students. We'll be right back. The Texas Department of Motor Vehicles has officially launched requirements for autonomous vehicles. All automated vehicles used for commercial purposes like Waymo and AV Ride must have an active authorization from the state. Those authorizations can be viewed online for both the police and the public. That page can also be used to submit safety complaints against automated vehicles. The changes are part of legislation passed during the last legislative session. Job openings in the U.S. jumped in April. The labor market looked resilient despite uncertainty caused by the war with Iran. According to the U.S. Labor Department, U.S. employers posted 7.6 million job openings in April. That's up from 6.9 million in March and the most since May of 2024. Economists had forecast just 6.8 million openings. The number of layoffs and people quitting their jobs also fell. A landmark downtown Dallas location is closing its doors. More details on the decision from Saks Global for Neiman Marcus. And we're taking a live look outside right now. It does look gray and gloomy out there. We do have a chance for some severe storms that are happening in parts of North Texas. Berkeley is watching that. She'll explain more when we come back.
Fox 4 at 4 o'clock.
Welcome back. I'm Eden Shekel. Thanks for joining us this afternoon on Fox 4 at 4. Some severe storms have started firing up across parts of North Texas this afternoon. Small hail, heavy rain, and isolated flooding are some of the main concerns. Fox 4 meteorologist Berkeley Taylor is tracking all of this. And Berkeley, things have slightly improved for us, right?
Yes, thankfully we've seen some pretty dramatic improvements over the past 10 minutes or so. As we sit now, we are warning free across North Texas. We saw all these storms intensify all at once, and a lot of them have shown weakening signs altogether as well, again, over the past 10 minutes. But if we look at where we saw most of those warnings sit, you can see still definitely some pretty impressive storms. A lot of these still holding together at least a decent hail core, producing, I would estimate, pea-sized hail. And you can see these little clusters, high reflectivities, not quite out of the woods just yet, even though they're not warned for the time being. A look over the past 15 minutes of their hail, you can see they have a history of weakening, pulsing down, but then re-intensifying and seeing that hail core re-strengthen. As we sit right now, the more impressive hail core, it sits off to the north and east of the Metroplex. Keep an eye on where those deeper blues sit there up in Hopkins County. And then the storm that was warned in Kaufman County still likely producing, again, at least pea-sized hail there along 175. No severe warnings, but as long as we've got the heat of the day working, I anticipate we will see active weather moving through the area. Scattered showers, isolated stronger thunderstorms. I've kept coverage at about 30% until we can get closer to sunset. Once we get the sun to set and we get that boundary to exit down to the south and southwest, we will shut off the tap pretty quickly. So by the time you round out your evening, 9, 10 o'clock, I anticipate will be mostly dry and the storm threat will really start to wind down in a hurry. Until then, we're going to continue to track active weather here on radar. I'll get you the latest look at live radar and a look ahead at the rest of your evening coming up in just a bit.
All right, Berkeley, thanks so much. Crews are beginning to cover up signs on the roof of AT&T Stadium as the World Cup inches closer. Video from Sky 4 shows crews covering the signs with a tarp. Sky 4 captured this earlier this afternoon. All stadiums are required by FIFA to cover up or remove any existing sponsorship logos. So what's being called Dallas Stadium will now host 9 matches during the FIFA World Cup. That is more than any other city in the United States. FIFA World Cup decor can be seen at the front of the stadium as well. The Fort Worth Police Department is updating its crime plan during the World Cup games. Fox 4's Dion England is live with the highlights of its safety preparations across the city. Dion.
Hi there, Eden. That's right. Downtown Fort Worth is a visual hub with a welcome mat rolled out for World Cup visitors. Colorful art installations, a fun 3D sidewalk mural, street banners, international flags, and much more. We have seen crews of workers sprucing up crosswalks, brightening areas with power washing, not to mention informative signage with QR codes and other helpful information. But as you mentioned, at City Hall today, a work session committee got an update on the latest safety plan as it pertains to multiple departments, including police, fire, EMS, transportation, 911, hospitals, and more.
The message to our community is that we're going to ensure that our community knows that we're doing everything we can, whether FIFA was here or not, while at the same time making sure that we keep the city of Fort Worth and help our other departments out with the safety of FIFA.
Now, the plan includes staff surging on match days. In addition to overall policing, Fort Worth PD will utilize 100 department personnel divided into 8 teams to cover various aspects of safety and security. And technology will be playing a part, a big role as well. Emergency responders will have access to translation resources to accommodate international visitors who might need assistance. That's the very latest live. Eden, back to you.
Dion, thank you. The artist who painted the iconic Dallas Wailing Wall is suing FIFA after his mural was covered up. Weiland is seeking $25 million in damages. Fox 4's Peyton May has details on the legal action.
The mural is now a blank slate of plain blue, awaiting a new design to promote the World Cup. But Robert Weiland is taking the battle over his whales to court. The world-famous environmental artist painted the piece to promote awareness for marine pollution. He even received a key to the city of Dallas when the whale wall was painted in 1999. Now, the 8-story high mural spanned 2 sides of the Texas Utilities building on 505 North Ackerd Street. That's until crews painted over it last month to make way for a mural promoting the World Cup. The lawsuit blames FIFA for authorizing the destruction of the mural, saying, quote, though FIFA claims they were working to develop art for the host city, in truth, they defaced a historic fixture of the host city. The lawsuit alleges the Visual Artists' Rights Act, which protects artists' integrity in work, was violated. It also names the building's managers and owners as defendants, who the lawsuit claims approved covering the mural. We reached out to FIFA about the lawsuit and what will be going up to cover the mural in its place, and we have not heard a response back yet. Reporting in Dallas, Peyton May, Fox 4 News.
Peyton, thank you. Fox 4 is giving you more ways to get local news and weather during the World Cup. KDFI Channel 27 is now Fox 4 Plus when World Cup soccer is airing on Fox 4. Fox 4 News will be on Fox 4 Plus. Over the air, it is Channel 27, also 4.2, and it's Channel 7 on Spectrum. Just scan the QR code for information on how to find Fox 4 Plus over the air or through your TV service provider. Neiman Marcus is closing its historic downtown Dallas store, and this time it's for good. This comes after Saks Global delayed its plans to close the flagship location last year. That came after city and business leaders took steps to keep the store from leaving. Saks acquired Neiman Marcus in 2024, but has since declared bankruptcy. The luxury shopping center is set to close its doors in September. Its North Park location will remain open. Well, the Dallas Mavericks put an end to the speculation surrounding whether or not they would stay in downtown. The franchise reached an agreement to buy land in North Dallas with a goal of opening a new arena by 2031. Fox 4 Stephen Dowles live in Victory Park, where businesses are trying to wrap their minds around this major news. Stephen.
Yeah, you know, the news sent shockwaves to businesses in the Victory Park area, and of course they thrive off of the foot traffic from games and concerts. So as we have been reporting this week, the Mavs and the Stars have been talking about leaving this area. Both their contracts in about 5 years, but by 2031 both franchises could be gone. Victory Park is anchored by bars and restaurants like Hero and others. A new restaurant in the area is Velour, which opened about 7 months ago. The owner told us that they are coming off of the best month since opening, partially due to the foot traffic in the area. While the Mavs will still call the area home for now for a few more years, he and a real estate expert tell us this doesn't mean Victory Park will be dead.
I think the area sells itself. It's Dallas. It's a lot of fun things to do and attractive things to do. So it didn't really give us cause and concern. I think we're a great space to be at, and I think you're going to come either way.
If we would draw on the authenticity of downtown Dallas, I think that's what we need to do, is to find what is really Dallas about the area and promote that. And people would love to go there. I love going downtown. It's wonderful. But Dallas is not just about downtown. Dallas is about the whole big sprawling city.
It is sprawling, no doubt.
The Mavs said that they've reached a deal to buy 104 acres of the old Valley View Mall property. The area is not far from 635 and the tollway. We don't have the terms of the full deal yet, but public filings show that the Mavs expect to spend just over $50 million for a piece of that land. Real estate expert Candy Evans says that this is a prime spot for businesses to build around the area. Now, the Mavs there was rumored that they were going to be at the City Hall spot. We know that has been controversial about if the city will stay at City Hall. So we'll have to see how that story develops on that side. Eden.
All right, we'll be watching. Thank you, Stephen. Samsung is also moving. Its headquarters will go from Northeast to Plano. Fox 4's Paige Ellenberger explains what's ahead.
And this is all moving relatively fast for Samsung. The company just celebrated the opening of its U.S. headquarters in New Jersey this past September. Regardless, though, the major tech company says it is moving all of those operations here to Plano. The company has not released any final details on a location, but they currently have offices here just off of 75 at Legacy Drive. Samsung says it's making the move to bring its American operations a bit closer together. You see, the company's U.S. semiconductor investments are all concentrated in the Austin area. It says the move to Plano will help streamline decision making. Samsung is hoping the new U.S. headquarters will be here in Plano by the end of this year. Reporting in Plano, I'm Paige Ellenberger, Fox 4 News.
Paige, thank you. Fort Worth Council members heard a presentation on data center regulations amid outcry to pause the construction of the technological hubs. The discussion focused on zoning, land use, and standards, and this comes as residents across Tarrant County have raised some serious concerns about multiple proposals and expansion in the area. Their concerns range from rising electricity bills to the amount of energy and water the centers have potential to use. Fort Worth staff members say the goal is to best position the city for economic benefit while also protecting resident interest.
We had two main goals in mind. Number one, it's how do we protect the health, safety, welfare, and quality of life of our residents that are potentially impacted by these data center developments. And how we do that is by leveraging our regulatory authority. And number two, how do we position Fort Worth to responsibly capture the economic benefits of these data center opportunities by requiring the best-in-class data center development practices.
A coalition of Fort Worth residents and advocates are set to host a press conference calling for an immediate moratorium on the construction of new data centers after the council's work session. The Mesquite City Council met last night to discuss data center development standards in the city, and they would currently only be allowed on land that's zoned for industrial uses and not in residential or mixed-use areas. Applications would require noise studies, impacts on utilities, and information about cooling and power generation. The council will be allowed to request additional studies, and data centers would also have to be surrounded by a 50-foot landscape buffer, including hills and walls. The city of Fort Worth is celebrating the biggest phase of construction on a housing development that honors a legendary community leader. Hughes House 2 will provide 302 mixed-income apartment units in the long-neglected Stop 6 neighborhood. The development is named for the late Robert Hughes, a beloved mentor and record-setting Fort Worth ISD boys basketball coach. The first phase of Hughes House was finished in 2023 and started welcoming residents last year.
Today, we attempt in our best way possible to honor the people that made this community so proud, and of course, continuing on the legacy of the immeasurable accomplishments of Coach Hughes, the legend of Stop 6 that continues today.
The Hughes House project is part of a larger transformation of Stop 6 that includes a community hub for recreation, education, health services, and job training. The project started with $35 million in federal government seed money and has attracted substantial corporate investment as well. The matchup is set for the Women's College World Series Championship Series in Oklahoma City. For the second straight season, Texas will face Texas Tech in a best-of-3 series at Devon Park starting tomorrow. The Longhorns swept Tennessee to reach its third straight championship series. The Red Raiders also secured 2 wins to end Alabama's season. It'll be the first championship series rematch in Women's College World Series history. And coming up, a metaphor taken a bit too seriously. How one kid is going viral after his baseball game. We're going to discuss that and more on today's Fox 4 at 4. And let's go ahead and take another live look outside. Things are slightly improving, but we are still keeping our eye on some storms out there. Berkeley will explain after the break. It's time for your 4-4. It is the 4 stories that have us talking today.
First one I actually thought was a myth, but turns out this is true. The U.S. Postal Service reported more than 5,000 dog attacks on postal workers last year. California was the state with the highest number of incidents. Texas was second, with Dallas having the second highest number of attacks in the country. Fort Worth was ranked 23rd. To keep mail carriers safe, the USPS says dog owners should keep dogs in a separate room while receiving mail inside and keep them on a leash during outdoor deliveries. I really thought that that was just something from the movies, TV shows, is that dogs don't like the mailmen. But
it's real life.
I guess it's real, which makes sense. I mean, they're strangers coming up. My dog freaks out anytime someone comes to the door. So I don't think that he would attack anyone, but
same. I don't think Ari would do the same, but come on, guys. We can't be doing this to the postal workers.
5,000?
I know, that's terrifying.
That is terrifying.
Yeah, and they got to do their jobs.
Yeah.
All right, we'll take a look at this video out of the Houston area. Firefighters removed a kitten from a storm drain. A family says they saw the kitten fall in the drain and called the Spring Fire Department. Footage shows firefighter Jonathan Lumpkin emerging from the storm drain with the kitten in hand. It's so tiny. The family that made the call decided to keep the kitten. Oh, I love that story.
Sweet.
That is so sweet.
It's literally in the palm of his hand.
I know.
And another kind of cliche for movies that the firefighters are saving the kittens.
Listen, the firefighters are doing it all. Look at that face. Oh, it must have been so scared down there.
Glad he's okay.
Yeah.
Well, this little boy is going viral for his interesting baseball play. His parents told him to run fast like a cheetah if he hits the ball. Well, he took it quite literally. He got on his hands and knees and scurried across to first base. They said maybe they should have been a little bit more specific.
I agree.
Is hysterical.
Listen.
Run like a cheetah.
He was paying attention. He's following directions.
And guess what?
They said what they said.
He made it to first base. Looks like he was safe.
He did.
So it worked.
I love that they have the footage of this. Yes. I don't think he's ever going to live this down.
And it's like he got to the baseline. He was like, oh, wait, like a cheetah. I forgot.
Gotta get down.
I love it.
Oh, man. That is hilarious. All right, and check out this floating ice cream truck in Florida. It is called the Tropical Boat. It pulls up to beaches to sell frozen treats to beachgoers, and the boat has been seen all over Florida, and it is preparing for a busy summer. This is a fantastic idea, because sometimes when you're on the boat for too long, you want something cool, right?
Oh, my gosh. I would love for that ice cream to just come to me.
Yes, genius.
Yeah, I'll take that. I was the kid that would run after the ice cream truck.
Yes, me too.
I could wave them down from the boat. Are you kidding me?
Just signal it over. Come on over. We want some ice cream.
I love it. I love it. Well, still tracking some active weather, but the good news is there's no active severe warnings across the area. We saw those kind of all pop up at once on the north and east side of the Metroplex, and then they all kind of were allowed to cancel, expired all at once, as we're seeing a weakening trend for the time being, but still obviously a lot of active storms ongoing across the region. One update I do want to mention is the fact that we've got a flood advisory for parts of Hopkins and Rains County until 7:30. Whole lot of heavy rain fell all at once over this area, and noted that there's some ponding over roadways. So as we start to get for that commute home, know that not only this area where we see the flood advisory, but really North Texas as a whole, we've seen heavy bands of rain that will, those normal trouble spots, you always see ponding, you always see flooding. You can expect more of that, especially as storms start to fire off across Dallas and Tarrant County. That's what we're seeing ongoing now. And I want to highlight something kind of interesting happening here. These bigger clusters of storms we've seen moving through parts of Kaufman County, they're producing an outflow boundary. If you watch this radar loop, you can see this thin line moving through Dallas into Tarrant County off to the north and west there. That's an outflow boundary, and that's what a lot of these storms are using to get up and going, to lift and initiate storm development as these continue to track in through Dallas and Tarrant County. Now, again, the bigger cells still sit off to the east through Kaufman County, then stretching back through parts of Rains and Hopkins County. Lots of lightning, but again, below severe criteria. Good news there. Hail sizes, that's what we've been watching in those storms. Thankfully, a lot of weakening trends over the past 20-30 minutes. If we're seeing hail fall to the surface in these storms, I imagine it is pea-sized at best. We head through the evening, more development expected for parts of the Metroplex as a backdoor front makes its way from the northeast down to the south and west. But really, once we get that boundary to exit the area and we get the sun to set by 9-10 o'clock tonight, I think we shut off the tap pretty quickly. We settle into a quiet overnight. Until then, we'll still watch for more of the same isolated strong winds, frequent lightning. That's something we will see for sure over the next several hours. Localized flooding, pocket change sized hail. This is kind of the kickoff of what looks to be a pretty unsettled weather pattern over the next 5 to even 7 days here in North Texas. Tomorrow, low coverage, but I do think we could find a few storms along the way through the afternoon and evening. Coverage gradually stair steps up Thursday into Friday. Right now, I think Saturday is our highest coverage day. Upper level low pressure takes its time moving through the area this week and then sets up shop overhead Saturday. Gives us a good lift for all the moisture will build up. I do think we'll find a little bit of a soggy pattern as we head through the weekend. A look ahead again, further reiterating that point, high pressure weekends off to the east. Low pressure has plenty of time to move in. And in terms of our temperatures, they've got kind of that inverse relationship where lower coverage tomorrow allows us to get near 90. Higher coverage moves through the end of the work week into the weekend. Our coolest day is Saturday, 87 degrees. Won't last very long, where we're just a couple degrees below average. By Sunday, we're right back to 90-degree heat. A look ahead at your 7-day forecast shows you will carry that into the start of your next work week as well, with temperatures slowly ticking back up into the low 90s. And again, today kicks off what looks to be a pretty unsettled weather pattern. We've got a daily chance of rain and rumbles for the next 7 days.
Thanks, Berkeley. Greyhound buses rode out from Dallas in style today in honor of America's 250th anniversary. The fleet celebrates the nation's 250th year through 4 custom-wrapped buses. The buses will travel across much of the country throughout the America 250 celebration period. Passengers riding the inaugural bus departure will receive a $25 voucher for future travel.
It's really important that we celebrate this moment, America 250, together with the nation, and also highlight the importance of the intercity bus, the impact and the importance it brings to people, connecting communities and people, bringing it all together.
Greyhound's celebration of America's 250th anniversary is part of a nationwide event to commemorate the country's founding.
Thank you for watching Fox 4 at 4 o'clock.
Thanks for joining us on Fox 4. Steve and Heather coming up in 90 seconds with Fox 4 News at 5. But first, this Fox News report from Washington, D.C.
Good evening, I'm Bill Malugin, and this is your Fox News report. Secretary of State Marco Rubio laying out a key condition in peace negotiations with Iran. Rubio telling lawmakers today reopening the Strait of Hormuz is a prerequisite. He also pointed out dysfunction in the regime is delaying the talks. It's primary day in 6 different states. Voters in California are trimming the field in the race to replace Governor Gavin Newsom. Contenders include Javier Becerra and President Trump's pick Steve Hilton. In Los Angeles, Mayor Karen Bass is fighting for a second term against council member Nithya Raman and reality TV star Spencer Pratt. The WHO drops the number of suspected Ebola cases from more than 900 down to 116. The agency says the others turned out to be different diseases or a fever. Meanwhile, 5 of the 18 American hantavirus cruise ship passengers are released from quarantine in Nebraska. The ship at the center of the outbreak can now sail again. And the Michigan woman's disappearance in the Bahamas now being treated as a murder investigation. Lynette Hooker vanished during a boating trip with her husband back in April, and the White House Correspondents' Dinner has been rescheduled to July 24th, nearly 3 months after a shooting halted the celebration while President Trump was there. A sophisticated tunnel connecting Tijuana to San Diego is discovered by Mexican authorities. They believe it was used to store and smuggle drugs, weapons, and explosives. In Washington, I'm Bill Malugin. Have a great night.
Pop-up showers for some and severe storms for others. We're tracking the active weather moving across North Texas right now.
In the aftermath of this deadly apartment explosion, lawsuits are being filed on behalf of some of the victims. Ahead tonight, one survivor tells us what went through his mind at the time of the blast.
And it is still years away, but the man's decision to move out of downtown Dallas is already being felt. How businesses that depend on Victory Park crowds are reacting.
Here for you. Fox 4 News starts now.
We've seen a couple of severe storms pop up across North Texas this afternoon. Hello and good evening. I'm Steve Eager.
Hi, everybody. I'm Heather Hayes. We do want to get you right to meteorologist Kylie Capps for the latest on what we're looking at right now and what's ahead. Kylie?
Hey, guys. The good news is that those storms are now sub-severe, but the strongest cells are impacting parts of the Metroplex. We do have one flash flood warning that's in place. So we're taking a wider view of radar right now, but as we zoom on into the north and east, here's that flash flood warning, which was just issued from the National Weather Service. Several inches of rain have already fallen. This warning is in effect for parts of Hopkins, Hunt, Rains, and Van Zandt counties until 7:45 this evening, as an additional 1 to maybe 2 inches of rain can be expected with this very slow-moving cell as it continues. Again, the heaviest rain right now across far southeast Hunt County, far southern and southwest Hopkins County, and northern Rains County. Let's zoom on into the Metroplex, though, because this is where the strongest storms are continuing. We've seen a few different hail cores kind of pop up as an outflow boundary has helped spark those new thunderstorms, especially west of I-35E across western and central parts of Dallas County. So as we take a closer look at some of the hail cores, there's one core that's basically just north of I-30, north of the Grand Prairie area, and south and west of Irving and Las Colinas. That hail core potentially hail up to the size of dimes, and then a little bit farther to the east, north of Seagoville. This is right along I-20. Quarter-sized hail is what our radar is estimating at the moment. Now, as we zoom on out and take a closer look again at these cells, movement is very slow, which means through the rest of the evening commute, we will have to keep an eye out for some localized flooding and ponding on the roadways as these cells continue to track between about 5 and 10 miles per hour to the west and southwest. I'll have a closer look at what we can expect through the rest of this evening and the rest of the work week in just a bit.
All right, Kylie, thank you. Multiple lawsuits have now been filed in connection to the deadly explosion at an Oak Cliff apartment complex.
Yeah, 3 people were killed, 5 others injured at the Clyde Apartments. Officials say a construction crew hit a gas line, causing the explosion. Now, as victims try to recover and families mourn the loss of loved ones, there's a legal process that's getting underway to uncover what happened. Fox 4's Alex Boyer has more details on the lawsuits. Alex.
Hey guys, you know, it's now been 5 days since the Clyde Apartments that once stood behind me suddenly exploded. And as you mentioned, day by day, we're learning about more lawsuits that are being filed on behalf of people who were killed and hurt. Less than a week after a deadly explosion destroyed the Clyde Apartments in the Oak Cliff neighborhood of Dallas, lawsuits are being filed on behalf of some of the victims, both dead and injured.
Sylvia Collins was just an absolute gem of a person, a rare, one-of-a-kind person.
Sylvia Collins was one of 3 people killed in the blast. 38-year-old Marisol Perez and her toddler died too. Collins was a precinct chair for the Dallas County Democratic Party as well as a well-known community activist. She was inside her apartment marked in this photo by an arrow when it exploded last Thursday, the drill rig that is believed to have hit a gas line just a few feet away. Attorney Chris Hamilton is representing Collins' family in this wrongful death case. The lawsuit names Atmos Energy, the property owner, the prospective buyer, and the company they and their engineering firm hired to perform drilling activities at the site as defendants.
One of the key questions that we have right now is how were these lines marked and was that done correctly? That is a major question hanging over this.
José, ¿me puedes contar lo que estaba pasando ese día? 73-year-old José Lopez tells me he was injured in the blast. He was inside his unit located towards the back of the complex when it exploded. He spoke through a translator.
All I remember hearing is a loud bang, and it threw me to the ground. I didn't think I was going to live. I didn't think I was going to survive. I felt trapped. I got out. There was nothing else I could do.
Lopez says he injured his shoulder, leg, and head when he was knocked to the ground. Attorney Eric Cedillo represents him.
It was a situation where just happenstance, luck of where he was located in connection with the actual explosion, which apparently occurred in the front of the building, is one of the reasons why he survived.
And so Cedillo tells me that he's waiting on the final report from the NTSB to see who they may name as defendants in their lawsuit. Meanwhile, I can tell you that attorney Chris Hamilton, who you also heard from, says that the Collins family is seeking monetary as well as punitive damages for what they call gross negligence relating to her death. Back to you.
Alex, thank you.
We have breaking news right now happening about the Dallas Stars. Like the Mavericks, the Stars say the team, will also be moving out of the American Airlines Center when its contract expires in 2031. The Stars have announced they will be moving to Plano, signing a letter of intent to build an arena and entertainment district at the Shops of Willow Bend. Plano City Council will take up the deal next week. Rumors started swirling in February when Dallas City leaders say Plano made an offer to the Stars. Plano already had plans to redevelop the Shops at Willow Bend. And so the Dallas Mavericks' planned move to far north Dallas is also major news for the team's current neighbors in Victory Park.
Yeah, again, leases at the American Airlines Center for the Mavericks and the Stars. They're up in 2031. Fox 4 Stephen Dial live in Victory Park, where business owners are just trying to figure out what's next, if it's going to affect them, all the questions with the news. Stephen?
Yeah, a lot can happen in 24 hours. The Stars now saying that they're moving further north than the Mavs to Plano. The Mavs news coming out yesterday about moving to North Dallas. And meanwhile, you got Victory Park businesses here who thrive off of the foot traffic from games and concerts. So we've been talking about it yesterday. We're talking about it today. The Dallas Mavericks, and now we just confirmed the Dallas Stars. Their contract, their lease agreement is up in 5 years, but by 2031, both franchises could be gone. Victory Park is anchored by bars and restaurants like Hero and others. A new restaurant in the area is Velour, which opened about 7 months ago. The owner told us that they are coming off of their best month since opening, partially due to the foot traffic from the area and the arena. While the Mavs will still call the arena home for a few more years, he and a real estate expert told us that this does not mean Victory Park will be dead.
I think the area sells itself. It's Dallas. It's a lot of fun things to do and attractive things to do. So it didn't really give us cause and concern. I think we're a great space to be at, and I think you're going to come either way.
If we would draw on the authenticity of downtown Dallas, I think that's what we need to do, is to find what is really Dallas about the area and promote that. And people would love to go there. I love going downtown. It's wonderful. But Dallas is not just about downtown. Dallas is about the whole big sprawling city.
It is sprawling, no doubt.
The Mavs said that they have reached a deal to buy 104 acres of the old Valley View Mall. The area is not far from 635 and the Tollway. We don't have the terms of the full deal yet, but public filings show that the Mavs expect to spend just over $50 million for a piece of that land. Real estate expert Candy Evans says that this is a prime spot for businesses to build around the new area. And speaking of, it was thought that the Mavs may move to City Hall. And then that started a whole controversy. Well, we know that they're not moving to City Hall, but there's still a meeting in the coming days about the future of Dallas City Hall. So yet another page to turn, but more drama probably going to unfold in this story. Guys.
Yeah, we'll see. We've heard talk about concerts being able to save the American Airlines Center, or whatever it'll be named. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Stephen Dow, thank you.
Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche told lawmakers that plans for a $1.8 billion anti-weaponization fund are not moving forward. So this comes a day after a court ruling led to the administration pausing plans for the fund. The plan was meant to compensate President Trump's allies after widespread political backlash. It comes after mounting pressure from Democrat and Republican lawmakers. The Trump administration had previously defunded the fund, defended the fund. It said it was a measure to make up for a weaponized Justice Department during the Biden administration. Secretary of State Marco Rubio told senators today that Iran agreed to negotiate part of its nuclear program. He said those negotiations would be in the ongoing talks to end the war.
His statement ran counter, though, to what Iran has been saying, which is that it's no longer talking and taking part in any talks until Israel stops attacking Hezbollah in Lebanon. So here's Fox's Caroline Shively.
Let's face it, Mr. Secretary, the Trump foreign policy has become a dumpster fire.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio facing tough questions on the president's plan for Iran while testifying on Capitol Hill Tuesday, his first time under oath since the war began.
Mr. Rubio, you keep telling us how we're winning this war. The president keeps saying, well, the war's over. Completely annihilated. The war is not over.
Democrats focused on Iran's effective closure of the Strait of Hormuz, which has blocked 20% of the world's oil deliveries and sent gas prices soaring.
You will not get those agreements relief just in exchange for reopening the strait.
No, that's not been discussed. That's not been offered.
Secretary Rubio told lawmakers the U.S. could be on the verge of a deal, possibly within days, saying any agreement must block Iran from producing a nuclear weapon.
Not only would they have a nuclear weapon, not only would they control the straits, they would be able to act with impunity because you wouldn't be able to touch them.
As Rubio testified, President Trump posted, claiming Iranian media reports that Tehran and Washington stopped speaking a few days ago were erroneous. Iran says they won't make a deal with the U.S. unless Israel stops attacking Hezbollah in Lebanon.
We are trying to view the Lebanon-Israeli talks as separate and distinct from Iran. And what Iran wants to do is mix it all together because Hezbollah is not legitimate.
Secretary Rubio will be back on Capitol Hill Wednesday testifying before two more committees. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
America's emergency oil reserve is approaching levels not seen since the 1980s. So this comes as the U.S. is quickly using up its supplies to stabilize global energy markets affected by the war with Iran. The Energy Information Administration says the U.S. has about 365 million barrels of oil sitting in the Strategic Petroleum Reserve as of the week ending May 22nd. Energy Secretary Chris Wright is pledging to fill the reserve by the end of 2027.
I believe the Strait of Hormuz will be flowing again in the not too distant future. Could be sooner than later if it's a negotiated deal with Iran. It could take longer if it's entirely done militarily.
Analysts warn that these steep drawdowns leave the U.S. exposed to energy spikes if there's an emergency like a hurricane or if the war with Iran continues.
President Trump named a housing official with no intelligence experience to be acting director of national intelligence. Bill Pulte will temporarily succeed outgoing DNI chief Tulsi Gabbard. Pulte currently serves as the director of the Federal Housing Finance Agency, where he accused some of President Trump's political enemies of mortgage fraud. Pulte has no known background in intelligence, defense, or national security. He will now oversee 18 intelligence agencies. Democrats immediately denounced the appointment. Some Republicans, including the Senate Majority Leader, also expressed doubts. Pulte can stay in the acting role through the rest of the year without Senate confirmation. The Defense Department declared its press office is now a classified space that the press can no longer access. Acting Pentagon Press Secretary Joel Valdez confirmed the move on a post to X. He claimed there was, quote, nothing controversial about it. It's the latest move to block press access to the Pentagon. Last year, the Pentagon imposed restrictions to reporting from the building, leading journalists to turn in press badges and walk out. The New York Times sued the Defense Department twice.
It is the end of an era for the historic downtown Dallas Neiman Marcus. Coming up, when the store will close its doors for the final time.
Plus, we will take you to California, where a secret tunnel stretching all the way to Mexico was found, along with a lot of cocaine.
After more than 100 years, Neiman Marcus is closing its flagship downtown Dallas store, and this time it's for good.
Saks Global initially delayed its plans to close the flagship location last year. The company acquired Neiman Marcus in 2024, but has since declared bankruptcy. It wanted to close the location in its restructuring plan. In a letter to customers, the luxury retailer called the closing, quote, a difficult decision. The shopping center is set to close September 30th. The Neiman Marcus location in North Park will remain open.
Samsung is moving to North Texas. The company's U.S. headquarters will relocate from New Jersey to Plano, bringing about 1,000 employees. The company says its U.S. semiconductor investments are concentrated in Texas, and so the move will help streamline decision-making. City of Plano confirmed the move, which is expected to be complete by the end of the year.
The Texas Department of Motor Vehicles has officially launched requirements for autonomous vehicles. All automated vehicles used for commercial purposes, like Waymo, must have an active authorization from the state. Those authorizations can be viewed online for both the police and the public. That page can also be used to submit safety complaints against automated vehicles. The changes are part of legislation that passed during the last legislative session.
We've got a new severe thunderstorm warning to discuss. It encompasses western parts of Dallas County, eastern and central Tarrant County. So let's get right to it. We've seen these stronger storms continue to move through the immediate metroplex thanks to what's called an outflow boundary. That boundary was that thin green line that you could see about 30 to 45 minutes ago. And since then, we've seen additional thunderstorms blossom along and out ahead of that line. Very heavy rain stretching from the big airport all the way south towards the Mansfield area. Be very, very careful on the roads through this evening's commute. Localized flooding is definitely a concern. So I've taken this track out from the leading edge of this line of storm. So basically, we're looking a little after 6 o'clock in the downtown Fort Worth area, a little after 6:15 in the Stockyards, a little before 7 o'clock in White Settlement. And if this is able to hold together, very far western parts of Tarrant County, like near the Azle area, a little bit before 8 o'clock. And that's because storms are moving so slow, between 5 and 10 miles per hour to the west. So again, this latest severe thunderstorm warning is in place until 6 o'clock this evening for the potential for quarter-sized hail and gusty winds up to about 60 miles per hour. But also that localized flood threat remains a concern. So I'm going to zoom on in on a couple of different hail cores. The outside of this one hail core that's going to be just to the south and west of Grand Prairie, basically just north of I-20, looks like a little less than the size of quarters. What we've seen with these cells over the last hour, these hail cores will have the tendency to pulse up and then pulse back down. So again, don't let your guard down for the potential for hail up to the size of quarters. Marble-sized hail possible just north and northeast of Mansfield. That's going to be east of Highway 287. The other part of this complex of storms is the potential for some flooding. The National Weather Service went ahead and issued a flash flood warning until 7:45 this evening. This encompasses parts of Hopkins, Hunt, Rains, and Van Zant County. It looks like rainfall rates have come down slightly over the last 30 minutes. This area has picked up several inches of rain already, and it continues to rain. So again, be very careful. Like I said, a lot of folks on the road right now, if you have to get out and about, especially along I-20 or I-30, headed off to the west. Yeah, I would definitely exercise some caution. Futurecast through 8, 9 o'clock. A few of those showers and storms will linger. And then after that, I expect a quiet overnight. Now, by tomorrow afternoon, a couple more isolated showers and rumbles will be possible. Not as widespread as what we're looking at this afternoon. And today is definitely the day that we're focused on that slightly higher coverage. And the Storm Prediction Center did encompass areas to the south and east under that level 1 marginal risk. It probably should have been expanded a little bit farther to the west and northwest for the potential for high winds and pocket change sized hail. Not only that, but we officially climbed to 96 degrees this afternoon at the big airport, the hottest day of the year so far. But thanks to that rain cooled air, currently sitting in the upper 80s and low 90s for some and the upper 70s for others. You can tell who's seen that shower and thunderstorm activity, especially for areas to the east and southeast. So through the rest of this evening, watching radar pretty closely, but the good news is after the sun sets, storms will continue to weaken. An upper level area of low pressure heading in from northern Mexico by the end of the week will send several disturbances our way, which means we have additional rain and storm chances to discuss on your forewarned 7-day forecast. The highest coverage based on the speed of that system looks to be in the Friday and Saturday time frame. Make sure you stay updated with us through the rest of the week.
All right, Kylie, thank you. Federal authorities are sharing video of a newly discovered secret tunnel connecting San Diego and Tijuana, Mexico.
The suspected drug-running passageway is nearly 2,000 feet long, more than 55 feet deep, has lights, ventilation, electronic transport system. Mexico's Attorney General's office found the tunnel a few days ago. Homeland Security officials say 4 people have been charged with trafficking drugs worth more than $45 million. That's all cocaine, they say, through this sophisticated cross-border tunnel. Authorities believe the space was used as a storage, logistics, and trafficking center for weapons and drugs. More news in a moment.
Delivery. Berhalter will hook that in. Looking for Chris Richards. Less than 4 minutes in.
He's considered the centerpiece of the U.S. men's defense. But just 10 years ago, Chris Richards was a 16-year-old kid from Alabama who wound up at the FC Dallas Academy.
He deserves everything he's getting. He's an amazing human being. He's a leader. He's a winner.
Now the 6'3" center back has a chance to prove it.
Berhalter hooking it in. It's Richards. It's in.
On soccer's biggest stage.
Hearing that first national anthem for the opening game of the World Cup on home soil, I don't think any feeling in the world can replicate that.
The 2026 FIFA World Cup, starting June 11th on Fox 4.
And it's 9 days until the first game of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. FIFA announcing it has officially confirmed the final 26-man squads for all 48 teams participating. 1,248 players will take the pitch across 104 matches. Of those players, only 357 have previously played in a World Cup. 22 World Cup winners are returning. 891 players are making their debut.
And Fox 4 is giving you more ways to get feature stories like this one, plus local news and weather during the World Cup. KDFI Channel 27 is now Fox 4 Plus. When World Cup soccer is airing on Fox 4, Fox 4 News will be on Fox 4 Plus. Over the air, it's Channel 27, also 4.2, and it's Channel 7 on Spectrum. Scan the QR code for information on how to find Fox 4 Plus over the air or through your TV service provider.
All right, thanks for watching Fox 4 News at 5. Heather and I will see you back at 6 o'clock. Clarice is next with more local news.
You're watching Fox 4 News.
We start with a check on the weather as we've had multiple severe storm warnings, including warnings in Dallas and Tarrant counties right now. A Fox 4 viewer shared this video with us. Small hail coming down in the Mesquite area. Let's check in with meteorologist Kylie Capps. Kylie.
Hey, Clarice. Yeah, we continue to watch that severe warned storm across far western parts of Dallas County and eastern and central Tarrant County. So that's where we're going to begin. I've actually drawn a tracker out from the leading edge of this complex of storms. Again, the severe thunderstorm warning is in place until 6 o'clock this evening for the potential for quarter-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Now, what we've seen over the last hour or so, these hail cores will pulse up and pulse back down. So there will not be the potential for quarter-sized hail during the entirety of this warning. We could see some slightly smaller hail cores, and that's what I'm going to show you next. Either way, a little before 6 o'clock downtown Fort Worth, a little after 6:30 in Benbrook. And because these storms are moving so slowly, we're talking to the west between 5 and 10 miles per hour. If it's able to hold together, we're talking a little after 8 o'clock in the Granbury area. So I've now pulled up our hail size tracker, and I'm going to begin with what is likely the largest hail core. This is going to be just north and east of the big airport. Now, this is radar estimated, so we're going to take this with a grain of salt, but our radar is estimating hail right now larger than the size of quarters, just to the east and northeast of 114. Again, this is going to skirt just north of the big airport where the largest hail is right now. So let me go ahead and take that off, and I'm going to go a little bit farther to the south. where a couple of smaller hail cores are ongoing. That's going to be just south and west of Florence Hill, remaining just south of I-20. This is likely pea to marble-sized hail and just east of Highway 287. We also have another flash flood warning, which is in place until 7:45 for Hopkins, Hunt, Rains, and Van Zant County. Have we seen a lot of rain in a short period of time? The good news is in that flood-warned area, rainfall rates have started to come down. I'll have a closer look at what we can see through the rest of this evening in just a bit.
All right, Kylie, you're keeping us forewarned. Thanks. Nationwide and in North Texas, concern is focusing on gun violence. Across society, gun violence touches all areas, all communities. Fox 4's Sean Rabb joins us with more. Sean.
Yeah, Clarice, we're talking about all forms of gun violence, from murder to the sadness of suicide, the tragedy of accidental deaths with guns. Guns are taking lives. Now, overall gun violence is decreasing somewhat in our country, but not among juveniles, 17 and under. In fact, gun violence is the leading cause of death among children and teenagers in our country. Dallas County Commissioner's Court opens with a resolution as June is National Gun Violence Awareness Month.
Gun violence continues to take a heavy toll in the United States.
While overall gun violence is down, it is the leading cause of death for children and teens in our country.
Access that our youth now have to possess and carry firearms has changed dramatically.
Lynn Hadnot is Executive Director of Dallas County Juvenile. Rachel Gandy, Deputy Director of Administrative Services there.
I think it requires direct conversation about what youth have access to when they're out in the community, both in terms of what does that gun access look like, but what other programming is available.
Violent crime for ATF is our top priority. We're the only federal agency that is tasked with reducing violent crime as our primary mission.
I spoke with the director of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms in Dallas for a conference last week. Robert Sakata says the ATF's new Crime Gun Intelligence Laboratory in Wichita, Kansas, helps answer the question where guns used in crimes come from.
When we use tracing, we use DNA, we're able to find out, okay, how did this gun get from the legal market into this prohibited person's hands, and then who pulled the trigger? We're able to get DNA off of a slide, off of a trigger, off of the front and rear sight, and we can tell you exactly how much of DNA was everywhere, and if 4 other people touched that firearm, we could break down who else was with you when they committed that crime.
30% of the juveniles in detention in Dallas County there because of gun crimes.
And that number increases significantly. We look at our post-adjudicated youth, and these are youth that have gone before the court and been deemed to require a higher level of structure and supervision. That number increases to nearly 50%. That are directly related to gun violence in the community.
Part of what we have to do in the juvenile justice system is really be thinking long term. If we now have this youth in our custody or in our system, what do they need to get out and stay out of our care? And that's going to involve more than punishment. We have to think about the balance of structure and accountability with the programming they need to not come back.
As you heard Rachel again, say it's going to involve a lot more than punishment. Prevention cannot just be left up to Dallas County Juvenile or any juvenile system. It's going to require participation from across community to try to come up with solutions to stem the tide of gun violence.
Sean, thank you. One person is dead after a shooting in North Oak Cliff. Just after 3:30 in the morning, police found the victim outside of the Laredo Taco. It's connected to a 7-Eleven on Sylvan Avenue at Interstate 30. Police say the man was standing outside of the building when a group pulled up in a white car. Officers believe there was some kind of fight. The man was shot. The group drove away. No suspects in custody so far. The public divorce trial of Ken and Angela Paxton has been canceled. It comes just weeks before it was set to begin. The Texas Attorney General and Republican Senate candidate's wife filed for divorce last year. Angela Paxton cited biblical grounds. An attorney for Ken Paxton said in a statement that the couple has come to an agreement. The terms of that divorce agreement were not made public. The critical midterm elections in Texas will be overseen by a new chief elections officer. Texas Secretary of State Jane Nelson announced she is stepping down July 17th. Nelson did not give a reason for her departure. She served in this role for 3.5 years, most recently overseeing the state runoffs for the Democratic and Republican parties. Nelson's office also handles business charters, state record keeping, and diplomatic relations between Texas and other countries. Before her term began in 2023, Nelson served 30 years in the Texas Senate. That chamber will need to confirm her permanent successor. Not clear if Governor Abbott has someone in mind to fill the position before the midterms on November 3rd. Crews are beginning to cover up signs on the roof of AT&T Stadium as the World Cup inches closer. And video from Sky 4 shows us crews covering the signs with tarp. Sky 4 captured this earlier this afternoon. All stadiums are required by FIFA to cover up or remove any existing sponsorship logos. What's being called Dallas Stadium will host 9 matches during the FIFA World Cup. That's more than any other city in the United States. FIFA World Cup decor can be seen in front of the stadium. The Fort Worth Police Department is updating its crime plan during the World Cup games, and Fox 4's Deanna England is live with details on how the department is making preparations across the city to keep everybody safe. Hi, Deanna.
Hi there, Clarice. That's right. Well, downtown Fort Worth has the welcome mat practically rolled out for the World Cup. Still some things taking shape, but as you mentioned today, there was also the spotlight on an overall plan for safety. A touch-up for the World Cup glow-up. Downtown Fort Worth is alive with colorful art installations, a 3D sidewalk mural, street banners, international flags, and more.
I think it's pretty good. I'm seeing all the things going on. I'm excited, and this is the first time I'm in a country where the World Cup happens, so it's pretty exciting.
The street view coupled with down-to-the-minute planning happening indoors.
It's about readiness.
On Tuesday at City Hall, an update on the latest safety plan that includes multiple departments: police, fire, EMS, transportation, 911, hospitals, and more.
The message to our community is that we're going to ensure that our community knows that we're doing everything we can, whether FIFA was here or not, while at the same time making sure that we keep the city of Fort Worth and help our other departments out with the safety of FIFA.
The plan includes staff surging on match days. In addition to overall policing, Fort Worth PD will utilize 100 department personnel divided into 8 teams to cover various aspects of safety and security.
On match days, when we expect more crowds to be in certain areas and watching games, and certainly we need to ensure that staffing from a citywide perspective is available on those days as well.
We started what we call virtual operations.
We've learned in-person courtroom proceedings in Fort Worth will be limited so that court bailiffs and deputies can turn to FIFA-related safety positions.
They'll be used to protect those critical infrastructures as well as City Hall and some other critical infrastructure.
Beyond the colorful excitement, logistics, and planning, there's a full approach to keeping everyone safe.
Well, we want everyone to be safe, absolutely.
Now, adding to the fun here in downtown Fort Worth, at least one downtown hotel will be home base to a team, the Czech national team. They will live here and commute for their training in Mansfield. That's the very latest live. Clarice, back to you.
Getting closer and closer, Dion. Thanks. And Fox 4 is giving you more ways to get local news and weather during the World Cup. KDFI Channel 27 is now Fox 4 Plus. When World Cup soccer is airing on Fox 4, Fox 4 News will be on Fox 4 Plus. Over the air, it's Channel 27, also 4.2, and it's Channel 7 on Spectrum. Scan the QR code for information on how to find Fox 4 Plus over the air or through your TV service provider. Fort Worth council members heard a presentation on data center regulations amid public pressure to pause the construction of the technological hubs. The discussion focused on zoning, land use, and standards. It comes as residents across Tarrant County have raised serious concerns about multiple proposals and expansion in the area. Their concerns range from rising electricity bills to the amount of energy and water the centers have potential to use. Fort Worth staff members say the goal is to best position the city for economic benefit while also protecting resident interests.
We had two main goals in mind. Number one, it's how do we protect the health, safety, welfare, and quality of life of our residents that are potentially impacted by these data center developments. And how we do that is by leveraging our regulatory authority. And number two, how do we position Fort Worth to responsibly capture the economic benefits of these data center opportunities by requiring the best-in-class data center development practices.
A coalition of Fort Worth residents and advocates are set to host a press conference calling for an immediate moratorium on the construction of new data centers. A multi-phase makeover in Fort Worth marks a major milestone with this groundbreaking. Coming up, how the Hughes House is part of transforming a community and honoring a community leader. You are watching the only local 530 news and weather in all of North Texas. An affordable housing development named in honor of late Hall of Fame basketball coach Robert Hughes broke ground today on Phase 5 of a 6-phase complex. Hughes House in Fort Worth's Stop 6 community is funded in part by corporate investments and a grant from the Department of Housing and Urban Development. The phase being started today includes 302 units. City leaders say the goal is to transform the community while paying tribute to the beloved community leader it's named after.
Today, we attempt in our best way possible to honor the people that made this community so proud. You can travel across the country and people know who Coach Hughes was, and his name will continue to bear on these buildings, which is incredibly important to all of us.
The first phase of Hughes House began welcoming residents last year. Once the community revitalization plan is complete, the development will include more than 500 mixed income units, a community center, library branch, public police substation, and swimming pool.
Well, our severe warned storm continues to slowly move across the immediate metroplex from the east to the west. That's where we're going to begin. You can see that yellow warning polygon there on your screen, and there are some heavier storms or heavier showers ongoing within kind of these pockets of these couple of cells. Now, the storm right now that's across western parts of Tarrant County and far eastern Parker County is sub-severe, but still packing quite a punch with the potential for very heavy rain and some small hail. So here's the latest timing. That severe threat is now slowly moving out of Dallas County, and we're mainly focused on Tarrant County through this afternoon. This warning is in effect until 6 o'clock this evening, with the potential for quarter-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. Again, moving very slowly to the west between about 5 and 10 miles per hour. So at the latest timeline, it's approaching Fort Worth as we speak. Benbrook a little bit before 6:30. Take these estimations with a grain of salt, because these storms do have a tendency to kind of slow down and then speed back up. Either way, a little after 7:35 in the Willow Park area. Willow Park, you're about to see some really heavy rain too. So again, that is not a part of the severe thunderstorm warning, but the potential for stronger storms does exist. I'm zooming in on a couple of hail cores right now, just to the west of the big airport. The potential for nickel-sized hail, potentially up to the size of quarters, exists. A little bit farther to the south and west, just south of Bedford, marble-sized hail is being reported from our radar estimation. And then a little bit farther to the south and west, we're talking just south of Benbrook, east of Highway 377, the potential for hail likely up to the size of about nickels is being reported. So again, these cores have a tendency to pulse up and pulse back down as they track from the east to the west, kind of a different orientation with the movement of these storms. That flash flood warning is still in place until 7:45. I expect this to be allowed to expire early, just based on the fact that that rainfall rate has come down significantly. Where we're also becoming a little bit more concerned is the fact that these cells are moving so slowly across far west Dallas County and eastern Tarrant County. And I'm zooming on in to show you what radar has estimated as far as rainfall totals are concerned. We're talking about 2.5 inches of rain right on the Dallas and Tarrant County line. And then a little bit before, or just north of Emory, we're talking a little under 5 inches of rain. Again, Futurecast keeping those shower thunderstorm chances around through about sunset. I think I'm having some problems with my mic, so we're going to send things to break, and we'll get another update after this.
Or at Ashley.com.
Apologies for the problem with Kylie's microphone. We've got it sorted out, and she's going to keep you forewarned at the top of the 6 o'clock newscast. Right now, Greyhound buses rode out from Dallas in style in honor of America's 250th anniversary. The fleet celebrates the nation's 250th year through 4 custom-wrapped buses. Those buses are going to travel across much of America throughout the America 250 celebration period. Passengers riding the inaugural bus departure will get a $25 voucher for future travel.
It's really important that we celebrate this moment, America 250, together with the nation, and also highlight the importance of the intercity bus, the impact and the importance it brings to people, connecting communities and people, bringing it all together.
Greyhound's celebration of America's 250th anniversary is part of a nationwide event to commemorate the USS Foundation. More Fox 4 News in a moment. Thank you for joining us at 5:30. Steve and Heather continue our coverage.
All right, Clarice, thank you. Here's a look at what's coming up on Fox 4 News at 6.
7 North Texas families filing lawsuits as they look for some accountability following last week's deadly apartment explosion in Oak Cliff.
Plus, we've seen a couple of severe storms pop up across North Texas this evening. Meteorologist Kylie Capps in tonight with a look at what to expect for the rest of the evening.
And first it was the Mavs. Now the Stars are following them north, further north. The team announcing today it will move out of downtown Dallas once their lease is up at the American Airlines Center. Fox 4 News at 6 starts right now.
Here for you, the news leader, Fox 4.
Hello, everybody. I'm Heather Hayes.
And I'm Steve Eager. We start tonight with a check on the weather as we've had multiple severe storm warnings this afternoon, and flooding is beginning to become a problem. This is video shared by Jamonica Lee in Garland, showing some small hail that fell there today. And we're going to show you what it looks like right now out on the roads. Highway 183 and American Boulevard, that's south and west of DFW Airport. So here's meteorologist Kylie Capps to explain what is all out there. Kylie.
Hey, Steve, I expect our one severe thunderstorm warning to be allowed to expire here very shortly. That's good news. We've seen a little bit of a weakening trend. There you go. That yellow polygon disappeared from your screen. That is a really good sign. That's telling us that those stronger wind gusts are starting to come down, and the potential for larger hail has moved out of of the warned area. I am going to go ahead and still time this out, though, because it is the strongest part of these cells that are moving through the immediate metroplex. So we're talking if this is able to hold together a little after 8:30 in Weatherford, a little after 7:45 in the Willow Park area. Now, that is because these storms are moving so slowly. We're talking to the west, anywhere between 5 and 10 miles per hour, and that is it. Unfortunately, though, with these slow-moving cells, that does increase the potential for some localized flooding and problems on roadways. So I just want you to be very mindful of that, especially if you have plans to travel from Dallas to Fort Worth, right along I-30, and even farther to the west from the Fort Worth to Weatherford area along I-20, where we're seeing those pockets of very heavy rain. Now I want to talk about some of these hail cores that we're still seeing. Honestly, things really not looking that impressive right now. There is a small core just south of the big airport in far northeast of Tarrant County. One little hail core has popped up in far western parts of Collin County. That's going to be near the Star in Frisco. The potential for hail likely up to the size of Nichols exists just to the east of the Dallas North Tollway. And then a little bit farther to the south and west, we're talking near the North Richland Hills, the HEB area. There's likely some marble-sized hail or pea-sized hail. The largest hail right now is to the south and west of Benbrook. That's going to be right along Highway 377 southwest of the Wheatland area. That's still south of Aledo and south of I-20. There is likely hail a little bit closer to the size of quarters, so we're going to be monitoring that cell for further strengthening. So again, here's another look at radar. From a wider view, you can see the strongest cells are impacting the immediate metroplex. But notice that thin little green line across central Denton County and right on the border of Hood County and Johnson County. Those are outflow boundaries. We'll likely see some additional storm development over the next hour closer to those outflow boundaries. Another part of this forecast that we're becoming a little bit more concerned with is the potential for some flooding. That flash flood warning still in place across Hopkins and Rains County, and that's because they've seen close to 5 inches of rain, radar estimated, over the last 6 hours. And then right along the Tarrant-Dallas County line, very heavy rain, anywhere between about 1.5 inches and 2 inches over the last 6 hours. So a lot to discuss over the next couple of hours. But the good news is after sunset, I expect these storms to weaken significantly, leaving us with a pretty quiet Tuesday overnight. I'll have a closer look at the rest of the work week coming up.
All right, Kylie, thanks. See you in a bit. First it was the Mavericks. Now, just 24 hours later, the Dallas Stars announced their plans for a brand new location and home.
Yeah, team officials confirmed today that they intend to leave downtown Dallas and Dallas entirely when the lease is up in 2031. Fox 4's Mike Ducey in studio with more. Mike.
Hi, guys. Yeah, well, news of the latest Mavs move does have the NBA franchise staying within the Dallas city limits. The Stars would move outside of Dallas into Plano if developments continue to go in this direction. Not coincidentally, one day after the Mavs announcement, the Stars do make one of their own, confirming what most have assumed, that the team will move one step closer to a move to the Willow Bend Mall site. The team signing a non-binding letter of intent to purchase the 90 acres on Park Boulevard in Plano, the Willow Bend Mall location. The Plano City Council will vote Monday night on whether to accept that letter. Since moving to Texas in 1993, the Stars have always played in the city of Dallas, first at Reunion Arena, now American Airlines Center. And in spite of having the second most regular season wins in the NHL since moving here 33 years ago, the Stars rank near the bottom of the league in revenue generated. That according to a Dallas Morning News report that cited NHL documents. The Stars believe that a new modern arena with more amenities would improve the fan experience, while also helping those revenue numbers for the franchise. This statement from Stars owner Tom Ghilardi: this project would present a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for our franchise. We eagerly await the vote by the Plano City Council and look forward to continuing the conversation to be part of the redevelopment of the shops at Willow Bend. Willow Bend Mall opened in 2001. The mall has had a difficult time attracting shoppers and has lost several stores. And again, now it appears the Dallas Stars are ready to make a move to that site in Plano. First, though, the City Council there Monday voting on whether the Stars can move forward with their plans. Much more on this tonight, I'm sure, at 9 and at 10:30 on Free for All as well.
Okay.
Did I surprise you guys?
I think I surprised her by thinking.
Look, what is Heather going to say?
No,
so I was thinking about, if you want to know, yesterday I was thinking about North Park and the different malls, and tonight it's Willow Bend, which we were there 2 weeks ago, and crickets.
Well, I remember well when that opened. We lived up in that part of the Metroplex at that time. It was very exciting. Didn't take much to excite us at that time.
Didn't 9/11 kind of didn't that happen shortly sort of
that's
after
a good
opening?
point.
Really cut the legs. People were not
unfortunate
excited
from
about doing any of that kind of thing for a long time. Yeah.
But should I send it officially back to you guys now?
Sure.
I'm going to say back to Heather and Grizzly
Perfect,
Adams.
and I'll be prepared.
All right, back to you guys. All right.
What'd you say, Grizzly Adams?
Coming up
really
a little later in this newscast, Stephen Dahl reports on how businesses in the Victory Park area are reacting to the moves of both professional teams leaving the American Airlines Center.
I mean, I know who Grizzly Adams is. Do people know?
You're right. That is
That's
an old show.
reference.
You gotta be
Sam,
like,
do you know who Sam does not know.
Mike Ducey knows.
I know.